Hello, everyone. Welcome to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host for today, Tabetha Moreto. Our guest today is Dr. Terry Wahls, a clinical professor of medicine at the University of Iowa in the United States. Today, we're going to talk about the 6th BioCeuticals Research Symposium 2018, which will be held in Melbourne, Australia. We're also going to talk about how to treat multiple sclerosis with intensive nutrition. Without further ado, welcome to the show, Terry. It's so nice to have you here.
Hey, thank you so much.
My pleasure. So, Terry, please tell the audience more about yourself and the nature of your work.
I am a professor of medicine at the University of Iowa, and I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2000. Now, at that time, I was very much a conventional physician and was very skeptical about diets and supplements and alternative medicine. So when I was diagnosed with MS, I sought out the best MS centers in the country, went to the Cleveland Clinic, took the newest disease-modifying treatment. But I continued to decline, and within 3 years I needed a tilt-recline wheelchair. And that's when I would begin this journey of discovery, going back to reading more about the basic science, and I would ultimately, using science, devise a diet and lifestyle program designed specifically for my brain that would lead to this dramatic reversal of my disease, get me out of my tilt-recline wheelchair, and that would become the focus of my clinical research, and it would change how I practice medicine.
Wow, that's a very interesting story. It's good to hear that you were able to overcome this condition.
Yes, I spent 4 years in a tilt-recline wheelchair. It had gone downhill 7 years taking the newest drugs.
I see. Now, tell us more about this conference that you're going to speak at in Australia.
So this is really a excellent conference. We have some leaders using science and alternative medicine to address how we can optimize our immune function and reduce our symptoms and improve our function and quality of life for those who have a autoimmune or immune disorder.
That's very fascinating. Now, Terry, let's talk about misconceptions. Are there any misconceptions regarding MS that drives you nuts and it keeps you up at night?
Sure. People think that it is a genetic disease, that because of the genes you got from mom and dad, you're destined to develop MS, and that there's very little under your control, when in fact the genes appear to influence our risk maybe 5 to 30% at most, even if you have two parents with MS. The vast majority of risk is due to the environmental factors such as diet quality, physical activity level, social networks, environmental exposures. And these are things that people can control.
That's good. Thank you so much for clearing up those misconceptions. And I hate to admit this, but I'm one of those people who used to believe that MS is a genetic disease.
Well, don't feel bad. I had thought it was, my lots of genetics and that there wasn't much under my control, and that's where I started out. But obviously I have learned a great deal since that there is a great deal under our control that we can do.
Excellent. Now let's go back to intensive nutrition. A while ago, you were sharing your story about how it was able to help you with your condition. So can you tell our audience, how can intensive nutrition help others with multiple sclerosis?
So what we've observed is that most of us in the United States, and probably here in Australia as well, the quality of our diet has just really fallen. We're eating so few vegetables. In the U.S., it's 1.5 servings a day. I know CRSIO, if I got those initials correct, say that 80% of Australians don't eat sufficient numbers of vegetables. because we're filling up on sugar and white flour and really yummy, delicious, inexpensive processed foods. So our brains do not have the building blocks they need to maintain and repair our brains, to build the structures we need for a healthy immune function or a healthy brain. And that contributes mightily to the severity of our diseases.
That's true. I agree with you. Nowadays, a lot of people eat too much junk food, too much sugar, and too much flour. And another thing I have to admit, I'm guilty of that. So thank you for coming on the show. Because of you, people are becoming educated about how nutrition can actually help us, even with people with the condition that you had.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much, Terry. I would love to chat with you more, but we're running out of time. But before we go, Terry, what is your main takeaway message to all of our listeners out there? What would you like to tell them?
Well, two things. Swap out the processed foods for vegetables. Learn more by picking up my book, The Wahls Protocol. So I go into great detail. And visit my website, terrywahls.com, to learn more about the many things under your control.
Fantastic. And those who want to contact you, how can they do that?
Again, reach me at Terry Wahls, Terry, Wahls, WAHLS.com. And you can learn more about the many ways that you can get better control of your health.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Terry, for coming on the show. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you very much.
And that was University of Iowa Clinical Professor of Medicine, Dr. Terry Wahls. If you like this interview, transcripts and archives are available at www.hpr.fm. We're on all social media platforms, so don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe. Show us some love by subscribing to our HPR YouTube channel. We're also available for download on SoundCloud and iTunes. I'm Tabetha Moreto, and you're listening to Health Professional Radio.